Well, hello all you EULO fans. Here we are then, well at least I am, at Leopardstown for the first day of the Irish Champions weekend. And it's going to be brilliant but busy. Of course, Jaysella is over at Doncaster for St Leger Day and we'll be getting over to her soon enough. There's lots to cover on Saturday, so I thought I'd get the early races and the handicaps at Leopardstown out of the way first. So, for the Ingabel, I'm taking a chance on Gavin Cromwell's Brownstown. My reasoning is that this Cracksman filly won here on her debut under rules on soft ground, so that's the first point in her favour. But the last day, where although she was no match for Diamond Necklace's stablemate, Composing, that was the Group 2 Debutante Stakes, and this listed race is a whole lot easier. Brownstown also ran well in the Silver Flash on this track, and at double figure odds is just too tempting as an each-way gamble against Diamond Necklace, who just looks too short a price to me for value. For the first of the handicaps, there's plenty herein with a chance, but I like the idea of dropping Tribal Nation back in trip to 7 furlongs. This looks a very good mark for Joseph O'Brien's charge, and with form on heavy going, won't be concerned over conditions. Johnny Murtaugh's Rami can make the frame, while Natalia Lupini's Dunham was third in 2023 and can get involved again. These are my three, but Dylan Brown McMonagle on Tribal Nation swings it for me for the win. In the Patingo, I'll side with Too Bossy for Us. We all know that Willie Mullins likes to target these valuable handicaps, and running in the same HOS Syndicate Silks as York's Ebor winner, Ethical Diamond, this could well prove to be another canny piece of placing. Helvic Dream is a former Group 1 winner that should go well under Chris Hayes, and Emmett Mullins's Lord Church is my each-way gamble, Too Bossy. For us to be too big and bossy for them here, I think. Next up, the fillies' autumn handicap is a bit of a puzzler this, but Johnny Murtaugh's One More Dance is at least consistent and won't be minding this going. The hat-trick seeking Noli Timere for Michael O'Callaghan and Ger Lyons continuity can all make the frame in another wide open race, where it is the 3-year-olds that make most appeal to me. There's some each-way attraction in Joseph O'Brien's Kodiak filly Cindria, but I'll go with One More Dance for the win. Now it's time to get over to Jaysella for her lowdown on Town Moor.
Why, thank you, Caroline. And yep, you're spot on. It is a busy weekend, really busy. So I know you've got a whole Leopardstown card to cover, so I'll just get my bit out of the way at Donny. As the boss always reminds me, it's called by them, be there, whatever that means. Yeah, whatever, boss. Right here, I go for the Champagne Stakes. It might have just been a novice stakes at Sandown Park that Oxagon won last time out. But, oh boy, did he win it well or what? Now, Oxagon, with Oisin Murphy up top, takes a big step up in grade, taking on York's Acombe Stakes winner, Guon, who's got himself a big 3-figure rating after just the 2 starts. John and Thady Gosden are doing their usual though, hitting a run of form just when it matters. So with Oisin on board, I'm finding Oxagon easy to back. Aidan O'Brien's Puerto Rico was last seen in the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix, so can't be discounted, but I'm sticking with Oxagon, please. A bit later on, in the Park Stakes, Charlie Appleby's Shadow of Light is the class act of this field, and should be winning this. Considering he's been involved in Group 1's all 3 starts this season, stepping down in grade gives him less to do, in theory. So it was no surprise to see him at the top of the markets this week. Ed Walker's 10 Bob Tony, don't you just love that name, returned to action with a good win in the John of Gaunt at Haydock Park, beating the likes of Kinross and Spycatcher, plus 3 other rivals here, so has to rate the main threat. But I can't get away from the jolly. Shadow of Light to come out and have his day in the sun. Now for the big one. Well, Aidan O'Brien has had a brilliant classic season, and it's hats off to the first trainer to win both the English and Irish derbies in the same year, as he did with Lambourne. So where does that leave us for the final British Classic of 2025, the St Leger? Well, I can tell you where it leaves me, wondering if there's a big upset on the cards, with Paddy Toomey's Karmas being the least exposed to my mind, as it looked from his run in the Great Voltigeur at York that he was crying out for this trip. Yep, I do get it that Aidan O'Brien's all-powerful Ballydoyle Yard are going for a hat-trick of wins in this, but Scandinavia wants the ground as quick as poss, while Lambourne has had some tough races this term. and that all seemed to catch up with him in the Great Voltigeur. There we are. I've said the unsayable. I'm going against Ballydoyle and saying Calmers is taking this. Heaven help me.
Thanks, Jace, and good luck with your Donny tips. Now then, my Saturday nap goes to post in the CMG Group Stakes. Just a bit of an office favourite is Al Arce, and finally getting his ground here must have a really big chance. Although he's 8 now, William Haggis's loyal servant showed he was just as good as ever when scoring at Goodwood last month, and he ran well over this course and distance last year to be a half-length second to Ballydoyle's Adelaide River. Carl Burke's British Raider Convergent was runner-up in the German Derby last time, and getting plenty of weight from Al Arce has to be on my list, while last year's winner, Joseph O'Brien's Trust, Your Instinct is a danger if the ground dries out. I will take my chance with Al Arce, who could be just a bit too classy for this field. Next up, my next best lines up in the Group 1 Matron Stakes. I'm of the opinion that Fallen Angel saves her best for her away days, so this Irish 1,000 guineas winner does it for me here. Though with January lining up too, this is a close rematch of the Prix Rothschild at Deauville from last month, where Christophe Soumillon couldn't quite keep January's head in front through the line, and Fallen Angel prevailed. However, Joseph Murphy's Sir Scene hasn't hit her ceiling yet, so is a true danger to January and Fallen Angel, with soft ground of no real concern to her. So I think the Matron Stakes is between these three, but it's Fallen Angel that's getting my vote. Elsewhere on the Leopardstown card, it's the Ballydoyle yard that dominates the Champion Juvenile Stakes, and it's going that way again, I reckon, with Montreal. Just looking at his run here the last day, where he skittled the field from the front to leave them trailing behind by 8 lengths, and Moore made everyone sit up and take notice. Maybe Christophe Soumillon will try that again, or might he sit off the pace on this See the Stars colt, knowing that he's got plenty of horsepower under him. Stablemate Benvenuto Cellini is also at the head of the market, but I fancy it to be Montreal in a race exclusively of the O'Brien dynasty trained youngsters. In the Solon away, I'll take a gamble on Comanche Brave. Now then, if Donnacha O'Brien has got Comanche Brave right for this, he's going to be very hard to catch. There were signs of a return to form of the colt we saw finishing 5th in the Irish 2,000 guineas when he went in at Naas the last day, and I'll be thinking he can go close again in a wide open race. Ed Dunlop's Skukuza has promised much, but has to prove it on the softer ground, while Johnny Murtaugh's Alakazi and Jack Channon's Johan reoppose on near equal terms. Yes, I'm chancing my arm on Donnacha O'Brien and Comanche Brave for this Group 2. For the feature, the Irish Champion Stakes, I'll be thinking that Owen Burrows has had a desperately frustrating time waiting to get Anmart out this summer, but he's got his ground now, so here he comes. Of course, Aidan O'Brien's Delacroix has been backed into a hot favourite, but Anmart is a class act and can give weight away to the young colt and still come out on top. John Joseph Murphy's White Birch is a cert for my list, and this grey can be considered to have been a bit unlucky this season, getting boxed in for the Tattersalls Gold Cup, and then also unseen since with the ground just too fast. These are my 3, but Anmart has conditions he'll relish, and I think he'll hold off White Birch for the win.